Olympics host Scott Russell. In the interview, we talked all about his journey, how we got to this point in his career, and where he thinks Olympics go from here in this COVID era. Stay tuned. How did you get from CBC Radio Charlottetown, growing up in Oshawa, to where you are now, like the face of the Olympics in Canada?
I'll tell you what, it's been a bit of a journey, hasn't it? I went to CBC after graduating from the University of Western Ontario, had a master's degree in journalism. When I went to CBC in Charlottetown, I originally covered the agricultural beat in Charlottetown for the local supper hour television show called Compass. And then what happened was Diana McDonald, who was one of the first female sportscasters in the country, was the sports anchor at CBC Charlottetown. And she left to go to TSN, and that opened up a spot at Charlottetown to be the sports anchor, which I readily went for. And I got that, covered everything from harness racing to local curling, to the lobster carnival. It was fantastic. And I went from there. And what happened was I got my first network assignment at CBC to cover the Canada Winter Games in 1987 in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And I went there to cover alpine skiing and cross-country skiing. And the Canada Games was always sort of like the training ground for CBC Network Sports. And if you proved yourself there, there was a chance you might get on with the network. And so I had a great experience in Cape Breton. And soon after that, I moved to Montreal, became the weekend sports anchor there. And that's where I started covering Hockey Night in Canada. And I was there for 5 years and then got the job at the network full-time in 1992. Wow. And the rest is history.
That's crazy. So you've been working at CBC since before I was even alive. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What's kind of the differences between all those jobs and, being the in-studio host now? What would you say are the biggest challenges in terms of the adjustments, or the biggest differences that you noticed?
Well, being the sideline reporter at the CFL, rinkside reporter at Hockey Night in Canada, and I went on to host the Western shows on Hockey Night in Canada. It was a great proving ground to do the job that I'm doing now, which is the studio host of the Olympic Games. And the reason for that is being on site at the field of play is a huge learning experience. And to have contact with the players and all of the athletes who compete for Canada, because I covered world championships as well. And I was at Lake Louise and called the alpine skiing there. Being on site for a big athletic event, whether it's professional or high performance, amateur, is a great learning experience, because you find out how to relate to the athletes, and you actually get the story and the lay of the land by being there. And so you can translate that when you become a studio host. You actually have credibility because you've been in the field and know what happens close to the field of play. It was a tremendous experience.
More from Scott coming up in a minute. We're going to take a quick break, though. There'll be more when you come back.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
The Olympics is like your baby, and that's what everyone knows you as. So what is it about the Olympics that you love so much more than these other events? Or maybe you love the other events just as much, I don't know. But what is it about the Olympics that you're so passionate about?
Well, I think the thing is the Olympics are much more than a sporting event. These other events are really based around performance and sport. So whether it be NHL hockey and the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's a sporting event. Same with the Grey Cup, the CFL, or the World Championships of whatever sport you want to talk about. The Olympics is tied to something which is called the Olympic movement. There are a set of values attached to it. There's an Olympic ideal, which is to bring the world together in a time of peace to demonstrate what is humanly possible. And the Olympics are open to people of every race, faith, gender, orientation, and circumstance from every geographical region of the world. So the Olympics are a much bigger thing. They're a much more ambitious enterprise. And, I first sort of fell in love with the Olympics when I went to summer camp in Ontario, in Halliburton. And every summer we had the mini Olympics, where, the baseball diamond was all decorated with bunting and torch-bearing runners arrived by the war canoe at the beach and lit the cauldron, which was atop the baseball diamond. And the entire camp was divided into country teams. We built embassies, and there was an opening and closing ceremony. And, it is a spectacle. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about the Olympics. It's a spectacle. It's the greatest recurring spectacle on the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. And there is no event on the earth that is as ambitious as the Olympics and aspires to be all things to all people. And I love it because it's much more than a sporting event. It's an event which is about humanity.
The camp I went to in Muskoka did something similar. It was just with two teams, but it was like lumbermen and voyageurs. It was a similar idea. Yeah, it was really fun. We had like cheers. We had opening campfire, closing campfire. We had leaders as well. Yeah, it was really, really fun.
Yeah, well, I went to a camp called Kilkoo Camp in Halliburton, and the Olympics had been going on at Kilkoo since 1932.
Oh, wow.
And they divided the camp into 5 teams, and it was England and Canada and the United States and Russia, and before that it was South Africa and New Zealand. It was pretty cool, and to hear our director say those famous words of de Coubertin when he said the Olympics are more than about victory; they're about the struggle and the taking part. It was hugely important as I kind of evolved into what I've become today as the Olympic host.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the RP Show pre-show. Once again, I'm Rachel Bishop. Stay tuned. Main events coming up next.
Right now, Darren.
Andre,
DuPont, the old Philadelphia Flyer tough guy, was nicknamed Moose.
And you being a tough guy.
Right. But in hockey, when I was younger, another player came across the middle and made the most devastating check I've ever made in my life. Take off the helmet, and it's a girl. And so the coach slapped it. Attaboy, Moose. Just like the Moose. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is, right?
The one sports show where roughing is encouraged. How about that?
How about that? Good morning, welcome, and congratulations, Winnipeg Jets. They're awake in Winnipeg this morning after a big win. Of course they are. I thought they'd be sleeping. Enjoy the extra rest. Welcome into Thursday. Just 2 days left here on the RP show with Rod's week off. Darren Dupont in, and guest today, Drew Kosher from the Off the Hosel podcast. Good morning, Drew.
Morning, Darren. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome in. And not just the Off the Hosel podcast, I will say the newest head coach of the Junior B's Pilot Butte Storm. So brought you in because it's NHL playoffs, and we'll get to talk about that this morning. And we want to say good morning to everybody watching today. Don McNeil, good day from an overcast. It's at Alliston, Ontario. Yeah, rainy here in the rectangle, too, this morning, which I love. And I know that's big because we needed the rain around here. It's been one of the driest springs in a long time. Now, the golf course need it, so the rain is welcomed. Jeff Kabilis, morning RP showers in Winnipeg. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Ryan McCarthy, who's watching in Saratoga, New York, and his customary good morning to North America, Mexico, Norway, Qatar, and now Sweden from sunny and beautiful Saratoga. No rain in New York this morning. Jay Cassian says, good morning from Winnipeg. Go Jets. Woo! They're pumped. They're pumped enough that I got to move the Oiler drink cup off the front here.
It's a tough one.
How about that last night? The Oilers falling to the Winnipeg Jets. A game that the Oilers played pretty well for 40 minutes. Just couldn't get it done in the third period. But we're going to get to that. People are really awake this morning. Jamie Anstey's watching way out on the east, and he says it's the Moose Show. It is. Shane Mellinson's watching. Morning, Darren and crew. Good morning, Shane, and I know you're loving the rain, Shane, out at Deer Valley. So, Jordan, let's roll. Quick 6 show topics this morning. There it is. And there's not much on here because it's going to be a lot of hockey again. Guest today, Paul Hendrick, formerly of Leafs TV. He'll be by a little bit later on in this hour to start teeing up tonight's game. The Leafs and Habs kick off their opening round series in the Scotia North Division. Sean Reynolds will be by at the top of hour 2 to give us a recap of the Oilers and Jets game and what went wrong for Edmonton and what went right for Winnipeg. And then I'm really excited coming up a little later on, Dan Moriarty from NHL Cool Shots. Not anymore, but when I was a kid, NHL Cool Shots, that was my Saturday morning. That and NHL Be a Player. So you're such a child, Drew. You know, you're not that much younger than I am, but NHL Cool Shots every Saturday morning, along with NHL Be a Player, the 2 30-minute magazine shows on the NHL. And Dan Moriarty hosted one. Really cool. Man, everybody's awake. John Ohm, Helly was brilliant. He is. So let's go. Jets, Oilers, leftovers. Let's start at the end. Final 5 minutes. The Jets in it's a one-goal hockey game. You got to get the puck out. I mean, cute passes from player to player in the circle in your own zone. In my head, I was just hearing Rod, who was, basically saying what Ray Bourque told him or said at a dinner, and always used to say that the reason Ray Bourque was so successful and a Hall of Fame defenseman, off the glass and out, 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 5,000 times, right? Not fancy, not going to make the highlight reel, consistency. The Jets almost let the Oilers back in this in the final 5 minutes because they're trying to make a cute play. And then finally, I don't know if it was Wheeler or if it was one of the defensemen, just hammered it around the boards like, enough, take the icing, reset. But it was a good game for Winnipeg to pull out that win. What were your thoughts last night?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the Winnipeg Jets. I think that whether they're missing Ehlers, their top player right now going into the season, and then you have Dubois out for a little bit here. But Winnipeg, their game plan was clearly hit hard, be heavy, just hit their best players and make an impact early.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday with Dustin Nielsen in Edmonton. What are the paths to victory for the Winnipeg Jets? And number one, Connor Hellebuck has to play well. He stopped 31 of 32 shots. He was good. He was Vezina Trophy good in that game.
For a reason.
Didn't have to be, 40, 50 saves like we've seen Jordan Binnington or Marc-Andre Fleury do in the playoffs, but he was really good. And
his birthday.
And on his birthday, too. Thanks for pointing that out, because that's quite a birthday present for him. And to play that well, they needed that. And for those that are talking about, well, the Oilers dominated, they played really, and the Oilers did. They played really well. But that's how Winnipeg's going to win. They're going to win by playing tight defensively, and then when they have an opportunity, make Mike Smith work, put pressure on McDavid and Draisaitl, which they did. McDavid and Draisaitl were a combined 0. This is it's a Rod, right? Yeah. Can you hear it? 0, 0, 0.
Yeah.
Right? And -4. A combined -4. And that was Rod's tweet. McDavid, Draisaitl, combined 0, 0, 0, -4. Upset coming? Question mark. Can you see it?
Yeah, I said it early in the year. I liked Winnipeg. Like I said, I think they're heavy, they're strong, they play with good pace. But, I would coach the same way. If their best players on that side of the ice, we have to play them hard.
Dylan Eggers watching on Facebook. You bet your ass we won last night. I love it. Jennifer Illingsworth. You're in a surprisingly good mood. Said, good morning, crew. And then comes back to say, Oilers really stunk it up last night. John Kirby thinks it's luck. Says it was luck, and it will be the only win of round one for the Jets. They're going back and forth. They're feisty. Dylan goes on to say, people 100% estimate the Jets. It was not luck. Woo! I feel like it's going to be a good morning. Coffee's on, Caliber Coffee, as we continue to roll here on the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. So Connor Hellebuck's rolling, and in his last 5 games, including that one last night, now a .959 save percentage. He's back. So away we go. More on that game. Discipline. Jets were really disciplined. So were the Oilers. Just one minor penalty in the entire game.
Yeah.
One Oiler power play. You can't have McDavid and Draisaitl get extra time on the power play. Right?
Yeah, there's a reason why he had 100 points in, 52 games. So, that's the old saying, too. You got to stay out of the box in the playoffs. Yeah. If you take penalties, that team's probably going to score.
No, absolutely. So that's good. Moving on, point 3, NHL playoffs recap. The big one for me, and we pointed out, and actually Clark wanted to make sure he pointed this out, and he was right. The Predators lose again. UC Saros made a couple of really big saves in that game to give him a chance, but Nashville went 0 for 7 on the power play. You can't do that.
That ain't good.
That is not good. Sorry, Max. You got to get the power play rolling, and Nashville will have a chance. You know what? St. Louis has a chance. They played well last night. They were close in that game, but, man, Nathan MacKinnon was Nathan MacKinnon. Hat-trick.
There's times I wonder if Nathan MacKinnon's human. He's so good. His first 3 strides, you just watch him skate, and he buzzes around. He plays every shift with the same intensity. But that team, I said it to someone yesterday, they have a really good chance of winning the Stanley Cup.
I had conversations, about what's going to happen when the North Division is done and we're into the Final Four, and I'm seeing it on social media that a lot of people think that whoever comes out of Canada is just going to get steamrolled. Colorado, Vegas, Minnesota's playing well, yeah. Carolina. These teams are so good, but we just have no idea how we match up because we haven't played any of these teams all year. So that's going to be really, really interesting. But point 4, Nazem Kadri. We saw the hit. I don't know if we have the video of the hit, but the hit last night, late in that game, is Colorado's going to win that hockey game. Nazem Kadri's been suspended before. We've seen it. I'm a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I know he's been suspended in the playoffs, and it's gone on to hurt them. He's a good player. And it's our Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center daily poll question today. How many games for Nazem Kadri? And what are the answers? 1, 2, 3 or more, or a $5,000 fine. Now, I believe it was a match penalty, so he should at least get 1 customarily. But that just seems to be the NHL's mandate. Let's just give him a $5,000 fine. Let's max that out and let him keep playing. But Kadri's been suspended before. So what do you think?
I think I was on the phone with you last night watching it, and I was oh my God, like that hit. Because it was, when I watched it initially, it wasn't that bad. And then I watched it again. I'm like, oh my, elbow straight to the head. Falk is down. His eyes are going every way possible. And we also talked about just, you know what? The lead isn't really on his side. History's not on his side. He's been suspended before. You know what? He's probably going to get some games. And I was thinking probably around the 3-4 mark. But then it goes back to Tom Wilson, a $5,000 fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a tough one for him. I mean, you know, and I think Colorado really feeds off of his energy when he's playing on that line. But when he crosses it, I mean, it's not fun for McKinnon and all those guys sitting on the bench watching on the PK.
No, it's not. Comments are coming in. Jordan Ewert says 0. Tacona Pauly says 4 games. He was asking how many for Kadri. Mark Zosel, Nazem Kadri doing Nazem Kadri things. Leopard, don't change his spots. I could see a couple of different scenarios. I could see him getting a game or two. And then I could also see a situation coming where he's suspended for the remainder of the round, however long it goes. We've seen that before, where he gets suspended for the remainder of the first round.
Yeah.
It's minimum 2, could be 3, could be 4, could be 5, right? Yeah. We don't know how many games the series is going to go. If it goes 7, he's gone for the remainder of the round. One thing you can't deny, though, is this would be a blow for the Avs, because Nazem Kadri is one of the best two-way forwards in the NHL. His offensive skill, we know it's there, but his defensive ability is among the best in the National Hockey League. He's the one guy that can shut down Connor McDavid, and he's done it in the past. He's the one guy that's been able to be that shadow, that thorn in the side of Connor McDavid, but he's not going to play in Game 3 on Friday.
The only thing I always question, though, is that he's kind of notorious for it. You know, he did it with the Leafs. He did it, 2 years in a row? And then now he's doing it with Colorado. Like, you need that guy in the lineup. But you got to know where the line is. You know the game's it's changed a little bit. You got to watch that line, I think.
Our content creator, Nelson Vo, chimed in. If this is true, this is phenomenal. Fun fact, with the suspension, Kadri will have more suspensions than Tom Wilson.
That's hard to do.
Doesn't that blow your mind? That's hard to do. Yeah, it is. John Ohm wants Kadri kicked out of the playoffs. I like the NHL commish, but grow a pair, kick Kadri out of the playoffs. Kick him off the tour, Doug. Kick him off.
How about
kick him off the tour, Doug.
You like that?
He hasn't done anything wrong.
He hasn't done anything wrong, yeah. So that'll be interesting. All right. Yeah, pretty wild. Moving on, I don't even know where we are now. Point 5, more CFL leftovers. And what's interesting for me in what came down over the last 48 hours, and I've had more conversations with players around the league. I've talked to Rod a little bit. I've talked to other people. And we're all in a different situation. And if you haven't been following along in the last couple of days, a few things have happened. One, Bob Young, the caretaker, the owner of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, came out and said that the Ticats are playing. And he guaranteed it with a tweet that the Tiger Cats are going to play. He can't speak for anybody else, so it might just be their offense playing against their defense, and that would be a pretty easy Grey Cup to win. But he guarantees the Ticats will play, and he's confident that the CFL will play. And then it was the CEO of the Ottawa Sports Group, Mark Godey, that said, we're with you. Red Blacks are playing too. We're in. We want to play and get on the field. And then Craig Dickinson had a tweet that said, I'm very confident that the Riders will be on the field, that the CFL will play in August. So he's confident as a coach. So you got 2 owners or ownership groups and 1 coach that are all in. And I tweeted yesterday that I've never been more optimistic in over a year that the CFL will play than I was yesterday. And that continues into this morning. But I will say, and as I say this all the time, we're going to live in a different world 2 weeks from now than we live in today. We live in a different world today than we did in 6 months ago.
That's from draft day, isn't it?
We live in a different world than we did 10 seconds ago. But yeah.
Sorry. I just can't wait to slam a beer in Pillsome.
But we do. We live in a different world, and we will live in a different world 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Right? So the mindset may change. But today, I'm more excited than ever that the CFL is going to play because you've got 3 guys that are in. Now, if a 4th ownership group comes out and says, we want to play, and we're going to play, and we've got the money to play, and then a 5th comes, now you've got a majority that says we want to play. And then you can start looking around and seeing the 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that haven't, and they're the ones that don't want to play. And then all of a sudden, as the peer pressure builds, not that peer pressure is going to decide if these guys spend the money or not, but it might. All of a sudden, if you only have 1 or 2 teams that haven't said they want to play, the fans will know where to direct their attention, and all of a sudden, those dominoes are going to fall.
You're either in or you're out.
Yeah. So I think they're going to play. I really, really do. Coming up on the show, Paul Hendrick will be by later on this hour in about 20 minutes' time to start talking about the Leafs and Habs Game 1 tonight. Sean Reynolds in Hour 2 for the Oilers and Jets recap, and Dan Moriarty in Hour 2 as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. Prairie Mobile text line is open. Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer at 306-840-8777. We'll get to that and more of your comments on the way. This is the Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's Week Off here on Game Plus TV, Facebook, and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. Patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Get your early bird tickets by June 24th for a chance to win a truck, trailer, toys, and cash. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports? You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back. The Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's week off. Just a couple of days left. Programming note, no show Monday for the long weekend. No show Monday. Wayne's watching. He's got the laughing face, the emoji, and then says, so you're saying things change. I think he's talking about the CFL. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I've never doubted the CFL will play some sort of season in 2021. So they're getting excited. I'm excited today that they're going to play, but that doesn't mean that they're going to play. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be excited a month from now and not changing my mind. So where do you sit? I know you're a hockey guy first and a golf guy second, or are you a golf guy first, hockey guy second?
1A, 1B.
1A, 1B. So football would be, hockey, golf, football, and then everything else. Maybe. So, but where do you sit on the CFL plane? Just on the information that we delivered over the last 20 minutes.
Well, first off, I hope it goes. I mean, the one thing for me is I like going to the games, getting involved, enjoying the atmosphere. It's a great experience alone. But I mean, if we can get like you said, 5-6 teams to play and get on board, the other 3 teams or 4 teams, whatever it is, I don't know how many teams there are in the CFL. But I mean, you know what?
9.
Eventually, they're going to come back and they're okay. We're going to figure it out. We're going to find a way to play, and that's the biggest thing I think, because you want. This sport has been around for how many years in the CFL forever. So I think it's a great idea, and hoping that we can all figure a way out to make it happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope it happens. Just to recap what we kind of went through off the top, we went through the Jets and the Oilers. A little bit of a recap there. We'll do more of that here throughout the remainder of the program, too, and we'll get you set for tonight's game, Leafs and the Habs. Our Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center poll question refers to Nazem Kadri and his hit last night that has resulted in an in-person hearing. He's been offered an in-person hearing this morning. So our question is, how many games do you think Nazem Kadri will be suspended for? And your choices are 1 game, 2 games, 3+, or a $5,000 fine. Now, obviously,
where do you stand?
He's going to get at least a game because of the match penalty. And like I said, I could see him getting suspended for the remainder of the series just because he's a repeat offender and the history that comes along with it. So I would probably be in the majority here and say 3+, just because of that.
Yeah, that's where I am too.
It's a tough play. In real time, it doesn't I don't think Nazem Kadri is sitting here trying to hurt somebody, but you pick your spot and you try and find a guy you can make a big hit on. And I think he got the shoulder up in the head, and it looks like he could have been avoided. Didn't have to make that hit, so away we go. Which bandwagon, William? William May on Facebook says, don't jump on and off the bandwagon, Darren. Come on. I'm not sure which band. Oh, are we talking about the CFL bandwagon? Hey, if there's a reason to be excited, I'm going to be excited. All I can do is analyze the information that we're given, right? Which, for the most part, is not much. And it was also pointed out to me that last year the CFL had 3 different start dates. So don't get that excited about August 5th, but I'm excited about the season. And then the Alouettes coming out with their statement saying, well, we're not planning on playing home games until September anyway, so this is really exciting that the Canadians are allowing 2,500 people into their building next week. So you got a little window into maybe they just leaked a little info of what they know about the schedule, that they'll be on the road for the month of August. But very, very interesting, and something we'll continue to follow. But tonight, it's the Leafs and the Habs in Game 1 of their Scotia North Division Best-of-7 playoff series. And we're going to have Paul Hendrick joining us coming up a little bit later on this hour, actually, hopefully in the next segment. But tonight, looking at the lineups, and I think Clark's got a couple of graphics that we can bring up here. There's the Leafs. So looking what things might look, or taking a look at what things might look like. Looks like Ilya Mikheyev will draw in on the third line with Riley Nash in the middle. Rasmus Sandin's going to play on that bottom pair. Zach Bogosian's back in the lineup, and Jack Campbell gets the starting goal. That means Adam Brooks will sit, Alex Galchenyuk will sit, Pierre Engvall will sit, and Travis Dermott and Martin Marincin too. So there's your lineup for game one. And do we have a look at what the Habs looks like? Because Carey Price was down doing the conditioning stint. He will start in goal, which we know. We were a little bit concerned about Shea Weber on the blue line. He had even played, he's a right-handed shot.
Yeah.
He even was playing left-handed because of his wrist.
Really?
And he took a full clapper that was vintage Shea Weber in practice yesterday, and I believe it was Eric Engels that had the video of it, and it was basically, nope, he's fine, he's back. Shea Weber looks ready to go. So you can take a look. What are the most notable changes? It's hard to see it from back here. Yeah, Kotkaniemi's not playing. Caulfield at the bottom there. You can see not in the lineup tonight. They're going to be the extra group. So as you look at those lines of practice, it looks like no Caulfield, no Kotkaniemi for the Habs in game one. So, Drew, what do you see in this series? Because Craig Button, famously put on TSN, and it riled a lot of people up. It drew a lot of hate mail, a lot of angry tweets. He said the Leafs will win the series in 4, and at the very least 5. Where do you see this going?
Yeah,
do the Habs have a chance?
No, I really don't think so. I was talking to a few people yesterday, too, and I strongly believe if Toronto can get some really good goaltending from Jack Campbell, because he's been a backup forever, but now he's been starting and he's been doing really well, and I enjoy watching the Leafs, but they got to score quick, score early and often, and play good defensively. I really don't see the Habs having a real good chance. But they do, I think, and I firmly believe this, and I think Carey Price is the best goaltender in the world. They always have a chance with Carey Price, I guess.
Our poll question yesterday was, which of the 4 Scotia North goaltenders would you want leading your team in the playoffs? Not which team,
Price.
Which goal? Carey Price, without a question. That was Amanda's answer, sitting in that chair. And I took Connor Hellebuck because he's the reigning Vezina goalie, Vezina winner, and has that ability. Carey Price, Olympic gold medalist, World Cup gold medalist, World Junior gold medalist, couple of silvers, under 18, U17.
List goes on. The
list goes on for Carey Price. Can Carey Price beat the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Man, Adam, that's tough. You have to score more than 1 goal usually to win a hockey game more times.
More than 1, but with Carey Price, you might only need to score 2.
Yeah, I guess kind of proven last year too against Philly in that play-in series. I guess they played in, and Carey Price just did his thing. He stopped pucks. He did what he had to do. But I mean, at the end of the day, the Leafs have Austin Matthews and Nylander and all these guys that just know how to score and score early and score a lot.
And that'll be the question for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Are they ready to take the step and get past the first round? Because you've got all this talent, but are they ready to get past? Sometimes you need to learn how to win, even if you can have all the talent in the world, but you need to learn how to win, right? And that's not an easy thing to do. How do you get this group past that mentally?
Well, it's now or never, I think. But I mean, looking at just the way, I don't know, they did it all regular season. They dominated night in, night out. Take that experience and all that hard work and throw it into the playoffs here.
We'll see tonight. And we'll talk more about this on the other side of the break with Paul Hendrick. We'll get into the Leafs and the Habs. Our rock star of the day for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions yesterday was Dustin Nielsen of TSN Radio in Edmonton, teeing up the Oilers and the Jets. We'll see who the rock star is coming up today. It'll either be Drew, Paul Hendrick, Sean Reynolds, Dan Moriarty, Tanner Brightman will be along later, or it could be one of you. We'll find out in the Prairie Mobile text line. It's now fired up, so we'll get to that, too, before we get to the top of the hour. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's Week Off here on Game Plus TV, Facebook, and YouTube Live. And listen live at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation. Looking to buy your next truck or sell your current one? Capital is Canada's truck destination. Shop online or in-store to see the new 2021 Ford F-150, Ranger, Escape, and more. Right now is the best time to lease or finance a new vehicle. Can't find exactly what you're looking for? Let us help by sourcing your vehicle from our dealer network or custom ordering one that is perfect for you. Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation, 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right, welcome back to the program. Again, Rod's not here, just a programming update. He is away upgrading the certification on the recovery coaching side, so he's doing better work than I am. But that's okay. We're here till the end of the week, and then Rod will be back for next week's shows beginning on Tuesday. Wayne in the coast, Wayne Garolo's watching on Facebook. Also, Dupes, they didn't have a vaccine last year. No, they didn't. And Rod pointed that out in his commentary actually yesterday. There is a great work being done on the vaccine front, and that also makes us optimistic that the CFL has a chance to play. Speaking of playing, the Leafs and the Habs play tonight, and we go out to Toronto to Paul Hendrick, formerly of Leafs TV, and now of The First Question with Paul Hendricks. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Great, Darren. Thank you. And just in the car, so it's a little informal. And just dropped my son off at the airport, and he's heading out west. And here we are. I'm looking forward to hockey tonight. I mean, I was graduating from U of T the last year these two teams played, and I'm 64 years of age now. So this has been a long time in coming. And I was 10 the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup. So I'm excited, and needless to say, Leafs Nation is exceptionally excited about the opportunity to see these two teams go head-to-head. It took COVID to make it happen, but we're glad it happened.
I won't ask you about the Cup year, but what do you remember about that playoff series the last time these two played?
The Montreal Canadiens, that was the peak of their dynasty, and the Leafs were a very good hockey club, but they were nowhere near what Montreal was able to offer. So you knew it wasn't going to be competitive. I can tell you about the Cup final. I remember that like it was yesterday in Game 3, and the Stemkowski Pulford and a Papin line doing all the damage that they did, and Bobby Pulford scoring that big goal was just so memorable. The Leafs were underdogs in that series. They're not underdogs in this series. It's going to be difficult, but if it goes 6, then fine. But I just think Toronto's just too balanced for this thing to go 7. And I know Montreal is going to come hard at them, but it's just Toronto's built for this, and I just hope their goaltending is going to be up to the challenge at hand.
Yeah, that's the one concern, right, is will the goaltending be there? We know it's capable, but that's been the one question mark throughout the year. And I know the short answer to this is I don't know what else this Leafs team can do or management can do to the roster to make them put them in a better position to get past the first round. But sometimes you need to learn how to win. So what makes you confident that this is the group that can get out of the first round?
Well, and you're exactly right. Mike Babcock always said the same thing. The elite group, the core elite group of this team have been together. This will be their 5th time in the postseason. Now, you can say last year's run in the bubble to get to the playoffs against Columbus wasn't a postseason, but it was postseason. And it was a best of 5, and every game was jam-packed with challenges and pressure. They've experienced this now for 4 consecutive years. It's their 5th year running. I'm talking about Willie, Mitch, and Austin. John Tavares has been with this group over the course of that time as well. So I just think mentally they're ready to go. And they've been mentally prepped by Sheldon Keefe in terms of what they've had to do to get here. They've been consistently strong all season long. And what I like about this year's team compared to last and the others is just the depth on their 3 defensive pairings. There won't be any Travis Dermott tonight. They've got Rasmus Sandin because, he quarterbacks that top power play unit, and he certainly has asked or fulfilled what was been asked of him. And I just think he's a nice match with Bogosian, as would Dermott be. But they've got this kind of depth. A year ago, we're not even thinking about who they might put into the blue line. Who will they sit out? They've got depth back there, and they've got some size. And Zach Bogosian brings Cup pedigree from a year ago. You've got Jake Muzz and TJ Brody as well. These are all guys that are going to help the existing core from last year. And I just think they're a confident group. And they're a better group of forwards. I know it sounds like I'm spewing the Kool-Aid, but this is a good hockey club. I don't care what anybody says. This is a good hockey club, because if they weren't good, I'd say so.
Yeah, and I'm 34 and was probably a little too young to really be following close enough when Gilmore was playing in that series with LA, and that was really good. But for me, the best I've seen the Leafs was late 90s, early 2000s, right? And you had Steve Thomas on your show. I saw that, and one of the guys that was part of that core group when they were making a couple of runs to conference finals, and Pat Quinn was there, and was that the John Ferguson Jr.-ish era. But a lot of veteran players.
Yeah, just before JFJ.
Yeah, just before. And so when you had guys like Nieuwendyk and Steve Thomas, and you brought in some of those older veteran players, does this give you a little bit of similarity with the way they've constructed this group a little bit?
Yeah, Darren, that's a great question. I think it's a very astute observation. You can throw in Gary Roberts as well, and Stumpy, who was there alongside guys like Sergei Berezin. They had balance throughout their lines, and Shane Corson, especially, who was brought in a checking role. I remember him and Alexei Yashin. Yashin never even had a chance to breathe. They had balance all throughout their lineup, and their defense was very good as well. You had Cabriolet and McCabe. Dmitry Yuskevich, who was so underrated but was so tough. And I can go on and on. They had balance back there as well. So that was a good team, and they had great goaltending. They had Cujo, and then eventually they had Eddie Balfour. again, we're going to see what Jack Campbell can do. He had a tremendous regular season. He's never been in this situation. So if you're to put up a question mark, it might be there. But the supporting cast in front of Jack is so good that I think it's going to complement that confidence that Jack has. I mean, what did he go, 17-2-2, 18, whatever it was?
Yeah.
He was consistently good, and he bounced back after a couple of rough starts out in a trip to Vancouver and Winnipeg. So I think he's going to be good. And if Freddie comes in, you're going to have a motivated guy as well who's healthy finally. And but the comparison to the early 90s, yeah, or rather early 2000s, I think that's a good one. Pat Quinn was the general manager of the team. John Ferguson Jr. took over as the general manager, and things kind of went, It was pre-cap. There were a bunch of things that were happening that didn't bode well for that Maple Leaf team. But to get back to that 93 spring and the Leafs and the Canadiens and how close that would have come up, ifs and buts, candies and nuts. But I know talking to every Leaf on that team, they matched up extremely well against that Montreal Canadian team. And they think they would have provided a much better show than the LA Kings did provide in that series. And who knows, things might have been different, but it didn't happen. Full credit to the Montreal Canadiens. And I mean, for Canadians, us as hockey fans, it's the last one that a Canadian team won. It's hard to believe, 1993.
Yeah, and we had Dustin Nielsen on here to help tee up the Oiler and Jet game last night, and we talked about what are the Winnipeg Jets' paths to victory, and really they all came to one road. It was Connor Hellebuck. If he plays well, they've got a chance.
Yeah.
Is that the same situation with Montreal? Can Carey Price himself win this series?
He can. Yes, he can. Will he? We'll see. He's been out an awfully long time. I look at that Oiler team, and to take nothing away from Connor Hellebuck, I think they're a one-line hockey club. This Toronto team's not a one-line hockey club. They can hurt you in so many ways. So even if you were to shut down Mitch and Austin, you've still got that second line coming at you, and that third line's not bad as well. They're more of a shutdown line, but I just think Toronto brings a little more offensively. But full on for Connor Hellebuck, he was so great last night, and great on Winnipeg for what they were able to do with Draisaitl and McDavid. But Carey Price has been there. He's been there. Can he do it? Yes, he can. But can he do it over the course of a series that might go 7 games? I don't know. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to think that there's enough offensive depth on this Leaf team that'll make life miserable for the Montreal Canadiens. Hey, it's going to be tough. There's not going to be a lot of space out there. Gallagher's back. What a player he is. And they're going to be revved up to go. I just don't know whether they've got enough gas in their tank depth-wise to compete with what Toronto's going to throw at them over the course of the next 2 weeks. I'd love to have this conversation in 2 weeks from now to see just how right I was or how wrong I was. Because I know there's a lot of the country who are not big Maple Leaf fans. But again, if they weren't a good hockey club, I wouldn't be as confident as I am right now.
Well, we might be able to make that happen and check back in a little bit. Before we let you go, the Canadiens made that announcement, 2,500 fans in the stands. And we might not get there. We probably won't get there next week. But what's been kind of the response in Toronto, or what have you heard about Leafs plans for potentially allowing fans? I know things aren't really good in Ontario right now.
No, well, they're not bad. Our numbers have gone down every day. I mean, we're well under 2,000 per day, and this is a city of 5 million people. And that's not just Toronto. That's the whole province of Ontario. So the province is clamoring to get on the golf courses, to get on the tennis courts, and it looks like after this long weekend, it's all going to happen. I would have to think that maybe we're not going to be too far away from what Quebec is doing right now. I know we're a little more conservative, but it's not bad in terms of mindset for COVID. There are people out. Everybody is doing things. And I think maybe a legitimate step to sit 2,500 people in a facility that seats over 19,000. I think they can do that safely. And maybe Toronto will follow suit sooner than later. Montreal, for me, is my favorite building. Their hockey fans are knowledgeable. They're respectful in a fun way because they'll let Maple Leaf fans certainly know about 1967 and how long it's been since that last Stanley Cup win. But I'm just glad that they're going to get fans in that building. and maybe rock it just a wee bit as to what it might have been like. That's what I really miss. Like, I mean, Toronto in Montreal or vice versa here, and just how raucous the fan support would be for a series like this. Even if it's 2,500 fans, if it gets to 6 games, it's going to be great to see. Will Toronto be far away from that? If we keep bringing our numbers down the way they've been consistently coming down, perhaps we're going to see fans in the building in Ontario if the Leafs are able to go on a long run.
Hey, I hope so. I can't take any more of watching all these fans in the building in the United States and not get to do that up here. So here's hoping we will. Enjoy the game tonight, Paul, and I appreciate you jumping on.
All right. And again, if I'm wrong, you can hold me to task in a couple of weeks, okay?
All right. Sounds good. Paul Hendrick joining us. You bet. Joining us from The First Question with Paul Hendrick, his new show available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Sports update before we break. Connor Hellebuck had 32 saves, and the Winnipeg Jets opened their playoff push with a 4-1 win over the Edmonton Oilers last night. Dominic Toninato, Tucker Poolman, Kyle Connor, and Blake Wheeler all scored for the Jets, and Jesse Puljujarvi responded for the Oilers. Game 2 tomorrow night in Edmonton. The Boston Bruins have the edge on the Washington Capitals in the first round playoff series. Craig Smith scored .548 in the second overtime last night to give the Bruins a 3-2 victory and a 2-1 lead in the series. It was the 11th straight one-goal playoff game between Boston and Washington since 1998. Nathan McKinnon had a hat trick, and the Colorado Avalanche took a 6-3 win over the Blues last night. Jonas Donskoy had 2 goals for the Avs, and Brandon Saad buried an empty net strike. Colorado's up 2-0 on St. Louis in their first round playoff series. Sebastian Aho scored twice. The Hurricanes took a 3-0 win over the Nashville Predators. Warren Fagelis has also scored for Carolina. 32 saves in the second playoff start. Hurricanes lead the series 2-0. Game 3 tomorrow in Nashville. Preds also 0-for-7 on the power play. A 5-run first inning powered the Boston Red Sox to a 7-3 win over the Jays last night. It was a tough outing for Toronto right-hander Ross Clark, with the first 5 batters of the night reaching safely. Marcus Semien hit a 2-run homer for the Jays, who lost for just the second time in 8 games. And the Lakers kept their season alive with a big bucket from LeBron James. His 3-pointer with 58.2 seconds left gave Los Angeles a 103-100 win over the Golden State Warriors in a Western Conference play-in game. James finished with 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists for his 5th triple-double of the season. Your sports update for the Tap Brew House and Liquor Store. Now open for dining or pickup. Liquor store drive-thru is also open, and now you can eat inside, along with Ballers Rec Room back open again. So visit Ballers and the Tap, your sports update here. All right, viewer takeover. Right to the top of the hour. Back to your comments as well. And for those of you asking, yes, tomorrow is Football Friday. Be watching the RP Show's Instagram account, because I'll be filming the Frenzy pickup that Rod always does.
Nice.
I'll be videoing that tomorrow. So we'll see if he's ready for something in the morning. All right. So back with viewer takeover in a minute. It's the Rod Pedersen Show here on Rod's Week Off on Game Plus TV, Facebook, and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. We're overstocked and priced to move, so shop online or in-store to get the best deal on any one of our massive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Every pre-owned vehicle at Capital Ford must pass a thorough inspection, ensuring that your buying experience is quick, easy, worry-free, and just like new. So save the depreciation and buy pre-owned. Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering delivery, and the takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. Family owned and operated. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Well, when I first started playing, the scholarship was so important to me. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a gas station, and I used to actually line the field for the team to get paid just to make some extra money.
I think for me, the opportunities that the scholarships provide is very important, or very specifically the stress it alleviates for myself.
The Rams give me the opportunity to buy everything that I need to get the best grades that I can, and that'll lead to me getting hopefully the best job that I can in the future.
There wasn't a scholarship opportunity with the Rams. I know that life would have been a lot more difficult for myself. I'm not too sure exactly how much longer I would have been able to play beyond my first year.
With the opportunity that they provided for me to go through school with the financial support and with the opportunity to continue to play football, now that I look back on it, was the most important thing in my life.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers and
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
All right, welcome back to the program. Viewer takeover now, right to the top of the hour, and I believe that's as long as we got you, Drew. Sweet. Potentially longer, we'll see. Randolph Zora on Facebook. I can see Moose parked outside Lynch's place, waiting to pick him up, honking the horn. Yeah, I might. I don't know if I'll honk at him, though. I want to respect him. I don't want to be rude. What else do we got? There was a comment from our intern, Rachel. Oh, she was asking about the lockdown on large gatherings in Toronto until September. They'll get a special status. I mean, they'll apply, and if they have a plan, a safe plan, they'll get an exception to the rule. It'll be approved that way, just like a bubble or just like what they did in Edmonton or what they're doing in Montreal. It won't be a wide rule that will apply to everybody, but it will apply to the Leafs and going to the game. So I don't see that being an issue. I really, really don't. It was brought up in the commercial break, and they asked if we wanted to talk about Alexander Ovechkin. And to be honest, I had kind of flushed it because I had gone full Oilers and Jets the rest of the way. Are you having a problem with your mic? Are you okay?
This is an absolute problem here, yep. Go ahead, though. Go on. I'm good. I'll just hold it here. We're good. We're good.
I don't know what's going on with that chair this week. I get out of the chair, and the whole thing falls apart. I mean, you guys got to figure it out over there. I think it's a you problem, not a me problem. Hashtag be better. Yeah. Anyways, Alexander Ovechkin, double overtime loss, and he was fired up. He smashed his stick over the boards. You could see him yelling at his goaltender, the defenseman, for the mistakes, and he's being criticized on social media for it, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, I do understand why. You know, you see a guy and you want to say he's throwing a temper tantrum, and this isn't what leaders do. But guess what? Leaders hold people accountable. And if you want to win in the playoffs, you need to have that, right? A mistake leads to a goal and a misplayed puck in a double overtime game that you're trying to win to go up in a best-of-7 series, it is really hard to win games in the playoffs. It's hard to win one game, let alone 4 out of 7. Let alone 16 that you need to win a Stanley Cup. Very difficult. Yeah. Extremely difficult. And when mistakes happen, you can't just say, it's okay, we'll get them next time. You have to hold people accountable. And when it comes to Alexander Ovechkin's leadership, do I like Crosby better than Ovechkin? I do. I always have. But when it comes to Alexander Ovechkin, he's won a Stanley Cup 2. He hasn't won 3, but he's won. Yeah. He's proven now that he can get things done, get it done in the playoffs, that he can be a playoff performer. And when I see that intensity, it shows me that he wants it, that he cares. And I think it shows the rest of his teammates that, holy smokes, this guy really wants to win. Like, we need to be better. This guy wants to win. And we also don't know what happened once they went to the locker room. Because what I know from good leadership is they hold you accountable. And when mistakes are made, and the guys we all know around here, with the big guy who sits in this chair, right, guys? He holds you accountable. And it doesn't feel good. But then, when the dust settles, there's a teaching moment. And you make sure that he teaches, Alexander Ovechkin goes into the locker room and then says, we got to be better. And he makes sure that we're on the same side here. He doesn't just yell at you and then ignore you for the rest of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was the same when I played. I mean, you hold guys accountable. You maybe you freak out a little bit, but then you talk to the day after and explain, hey, we'll be better next game. Watch the tape. Let's figure it out.
Jennifer Illingworth, to our poll question, says, wow, I just saw the hit from Kadri. What a dirty dog. Yet, so typical of him. Chris Bird. Ovi is wrong for his reaction. That was a Thursday night beer league move. And Monty says, get over it. Woo! We got a big hour or two on the way with Sean Reynolds and Dan Moriarty. Stick around through the break and see you then.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Direct West provides us with stats and analytics, and it's amazing for us to look and see that, each year we're 10 to 20% higher on our Google leads. It's great to see the success that our locations are having. The Direct West app gives us an opportunity to be in one place for people to find any of our locations or our commodities. Without Direct West, we would have to be in multiple digital places. I would recommend Direct West. They're great to work with.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation. Looking to buy your next truck or sell your current one? Capital is Canada's truck destination. Shop online or in-store to see the new 2021 Ford F-150, Ranger, Escape, and more. Right now is the best time to lease or finance a new vehicle. Can't find exactly what you're looking for? Let us help by sourcing your vehicle from our dealer network or custom ordering one that is perfect for you. Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation, 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Right now, Darren.
You know, Andre DuPont, the old Philadelphia Flyer tough guy, was nicknamed Moose.
And you being a tough guy.
Right. But in hockey, when I was younger, another player came across the middle and made the most devastating check I've ever made in my life. Take off the helmet, and it's a girl. And so the coach slapped her. Attaboy, Moose. Just like the Moose. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is, right?
The one sports show where roughing is encouraged. How about that?
Welcome into hour 2 of the Rod Pedersen Show. Rod's week off here on the program, and Darren DuPont in this chair. We've brought in Drew Koser today from the Off the Hosel podcast, and the head coach of the Junior B Pilot Butte Storm just recently announced this week. Congratulations on that, Drew.
Thanks, Dupes. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so as we kick off hour 2, we want to get to your comments, too, as we roll. Shane McGowan watching on Facebook. Ovi had every right to express what he saw and is feeling. That's why he's the Stanley Cup champion. One of the best in the league who you want on your team. We were talking about Alexander Ovechkin having a mini meltdown after the double overtime loss and screaming at his teammates. And he's getting a lot of criticism for lack of leadership and not dealing with it the right way. But I think he dealt with it fine. To me, it's about how did he deal with it in the locker room afterwards. In the moment, hold people accountable. You don't have time to sit there and coddle people, but yeah, I don't really know. You're really having a time with your mic, eh?
It just literally fell down. It was like this whole time.
All right. That's okay. We got an interview coming up. We don't need you much in this segment, so we're okay. Tacona Polly on YouTube. Moose, you're the glue the glue of the show. LOL. I think that's a good thing. Darren Thompson on Facebook, the playoff room has to be cohesive. Yes, it does. And I'm sure it still is in Washington. They're fine. That's a funny story. Oh, Wayne Grollo, the Moose story, says that's a funny story. All right. Last night, it was the Jets over the Oilers in Game 1. And we go out to Winnipeg now and join Sportsnet's Sean Reynolds of the Kenny and Rennie show. Morning, Sean. How was the show last night? Probably a good one. I didn't get to catch it.
Yeah, we were on pretty late because Ken of Kenny and Rennie writes for Sportsnet and needed to get his stuff up, and it took a while to do that. So we went on pretty late, but yeah, we're always surprised by the fans, including Tacona Polly. Give a shout out to Tacona Polly. He's putting all our kids through college. He's all over the place watching us in these spaces. So good on him. Awesome job. But yeah, it was a great show. People were fired up. That's been the big question down the stretch here is the Jets have kind of been falling apart down the stretch. Could they cobble it back together and do the right things? And boy, oh boy, that game that they played last night, Paul Maurice had talked about a blueprint. He talked about the things that they needed to do. That game looked exactly like what he had talked about. So give Paul Maurice credit. He had a vision and he had his players execute it. And as a coach, you can't ask for much better than that in the playoffs.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a textbook Winnipeg Jets victory. It's a playoff victory. Connor Hellebuck was really good. But how did they shut down McDavid and Draisaitl?
Oh, I mean, that's the big question. I honestly don't think that we saw anywhere near the best out of those two players. I think that's part of what we saw there. I mean, everyone always says you got to get the body on these players. You got to hit them. You got to get in their kitchen. Well, I mean, Of course you do. Everyone knows that. It's easier said than done, though, when the guy's fast as lightning. You have to be able to catch up with him and stay with him in order to do it. But I think therein lies the answer, is they're not necessarily leaving it on one player. They're doing a really good job of, controlling if you're one of 5 players on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets, when Connor McDavid is going by you, you're pressuring him as much as you can until he kind of gets past you. And then that's when the next Winnipeg Jet player is sitting there waiting, ready to take over. And I just thought they did a really good job of kind of pushing him in the areas that you want to push him. I just thought there were so many instances last night where Connor McDavid, who in my mind, I know people think he's mostly an east and west player because he can do that. He's the ultimate north to south player, because every time he gets the puck, what he's trying to do is just skate through everybody straight to the net and score. That's the first thing that he tries. And I just thought that directness of his game, getting straight to the net, the Jets just did a good job of constantly kind of pushing him to the outside, in kind of behind the net, where I thought Neil Pionk did a really good job of kind of finishing him, getting the body on him, grinding him down a little bit. Connor McDavid did not look comfortable in that game. Again, I don't think we've seen the best of him, but I think the Winnipeg Jets did. That blueprint is going to make it very hard for Connor McDavid to be what he was in the regular season throughout this series if they can continue doing that.
What did you think of the sequence when they scored the go-ahead goal and then the horn goes halfway through the sequence, right? It was that was the 2-1 goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's your game-winning goal.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the players on the bench said afterwards that they thought that it went in, and they showed a replay, in the little cameras or the little screens in the back that the coaches look at, and saw that it went in. So the players knew in fairly short order, in about 10 seconds, that it was a goal. And Dominic Toninato, who scored the goal, thought that it was in. It was hilarious. Here's a guy who has basically been a taxi squad player the entire year for the Winnipeg Jets, plays a couple games at the end of the regular season, impresses so much in those games that he gets into the lineup, the playoff lineup in game 1, and scores the game winner. But he's such a new guy that he scores and is pretty sure he scores and puts his hands up to celebrate, and then is more worried about looking like an idiot to his teammates by celebrating a goal he didn't score. So he puts his hands down quickly and kind of doesn't question things, whereas, those confident goal scorers would be like, it's in, pointing at the ref. He's just like trying to not look like an idiot, he says to his teammates. And then the cherry on top is Logan Stanley, who, young rookie defenseman, who another guy who was a big question mark whether or not he was going to be in the playoff lineup. He's the guy who takes the shot and, in full-on rookie focus, just dumps the idea that was a goal, moves on, starts doing all the things he's supposed to do, goes down the ice, and I believe the puck's in his corner when the horn goes, and all the Jets go to the bench and are celebrating there because they've already changed. Dominic Toninato has already left the ice, so the celebration for the players who scored is kind of half on the bench, half on the ice, and big 6'8" Logan Stanley turns around, looks to the bench, and sees a bunch of guys gathered and starts heading over there because he thinks there's a scrum that he needs to start chucking knuckles in. So I just thought that was, it was such a delicious story of a bunch of these players who just want nothing more than to contribute to the Jets win, but aren't the kind of guys who usually do it, but came to play in game 1, got that opportunity, and their minds were all in the right spaces to do that, to contribute. And it was good to see those guys get a payoff.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, just a complete effort. Now, no Nikolai Ehlers. They did it without him, without Pierre-Luc Dubois, and was kind of said around here in a break, man, if they get those two guys back and play like this, I mean, the series might not be close, but how close are we, do you think, to seeing Nikolai Ehlers or Pierre-Luc Dubois in this series?
Well, I don't think we see Pierre-Luc Dubois in game 2. I think there's a possibility for Nick Ehlers, but we still haven't seen him take a slap shot. So, our expectation is that the issue that he's having is with his shoulder. He's skating. He's in really good shape. He's moving the puck around. He's passing it. But he's by no means snapping the puck around. And Nick Ehlers, for a smaller guy, has a phenomenal shot. He can really rifle it. We haven't seen him do that since before he left. And so you're going to need to, I don't even know that we're going to see him come out and be in a game right away after we see him taking those shots. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him till Game 3 or even later in the series. Although, hey, if he shows up in Game 2, I could see that happening as well. I see him being further ahead in the timeline than Pierre-Luc Dubois, and I think that's important for the Winnipeg Jets because I think I've said it on this show before. For me, Nick Ehlers is the team's MVP this season. He's a real game breaker. He really has been able to turn the tide. They need him back in the lineup. Again, I don't think the Jets saw the best of the Edmonton Oilers. It's good. They're going to get better as the series goes on, so the Jets are going to need to get better. Nick Ehlers is a short route to doing that. Pierre-Luc Dubois has all kinds of talent. It hasn't really clicked for the Winnipeg Jets. I think a lot of the confusion that the Jets have had throughout their lineup during the regular season has had to do with switching the lines up to find something that works for Pierre-Luc Dubois. They've found that at times with him on the wing. They put him with Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler, and that worked well, but they really do want to use him as a center. I just don't think they found anything that's clicked so far this year. I'm not going to go as far as saying I think he'd be a distraction if he came back, but Pierre-Luc Dubois, it sounds great to add a big, strong, talented winger back into your lineup, but the issue that exists there with him in the lineup is they just have not found a home for him yet. And as good as the Jets were in that first game and having everything come together, that's a big piece of the puzzle that they haven't been able to fit where it's supposed to go so far this season. And I do think that those issues are something they'll have to deal with on the fly when he does come back into the lineup.
We were just talking about, in the opening segment, about how hard it is to win a game in the playoffs. And to that extent, even tougher to win 4 out of 7. But does that win and going up 1-0 give Paul Maurice a little more flexibility to not rush these guys back?
Oh, I totally think so. Yeah, I mean, it was one of the first things that we thought of last night after that victory happens. Because, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people who are expecting, hey, the Jets had lost 6 straight games against the Edmonton Oilers. They hadn't figured out how to get their forecheck in on them. And one of their best players, 2 of their best players, are missing out of the lineup. The one advantage that everyone thinks is glaring in this series is that the Jets have the depth that the Edmonton Oilers don't. Now, that showed up in Game 1, although I think it showed up in a way, Nate Thompson having 2 assists, Dominic Toninato having a goal, Tucker Poolman having a goal, Logan Stanley having an assist, primary assist on a goal. That's the kind of depth that I don't think people were expecting the Jets to win on. You're expecting them to win off maybe Andrew Kopp doing something on the third line if he's playing with Adam Lowry. Adam Lowry getting something done. Mason Appleton's been great. Matthew Perreault, definitely Nick Ehlers. That's the depth that was supposed to show up and be the difference maker between these two teams that never materialized during the regular season. So I think them getting it done without those players and potentially adding that depth in at a later date definitely, I think, can play a role in this series in the mind game. Because I think if you're Dave Tippett, and I think that if you're Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who are looking and saying, yeah, I know we carry a lot of the load here, but their guys are showing up to help win a game. Guys you don't expect to show up, guys you don't expect to get on the scoreboard are helping them win this game. Maybe you guys could contribute in that part as well. It can't all be Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And you know what? Maybe those guys are good enough to get the Edmonton Oilers through a couple of series, potentially in the playoffs by doing what they do. But it's all going to end up down the road in a situation where they're going to play really, really good, strong, deep teams that are going to have the ability to shut those guys down at various points. The Edmonton Oilers are going to need a full team effort, full team contribution if they're going to get somewhere. And they might as well start now because they didn't get it in Game 1. The Jets did, and that's the big difference.
Yeah, it really is. Man, Game 2 in this series goes on Friday. Hey, have you ever been mistaken for Paul Rudd? Because they're asking on YouTube. They said, hey, I thought this was, Ryland Spencer says, I thought this was Paul Rudd on the show. And I get mistaken for Jason Sudeikis. So now they're welcoming the Jason Sudeikis show.
I definitely see that.
Yeah. Welcome to the Jason Sudeikis Show. We now head out east and bring in our friend Paul Rudd. That's from Ryland Spencer. So
yeah, it's never happened before. I've heard various other ones, but every time I hear it, they attach a poor man's version beside whoever it is. They'll pick some Hollywood star and say, "Hey, that's a poor man's version of that." So I'll be your poor man's Paul Rudd if you need me to.
If we ever need to make a buck, we'll go to Vegas and stand in the corner and take photos with tourists. All right, charge some money.
I'm in.
All right, enjoy the day off, game day off until game 2 tomorrow. Appreciate this, Sean.
Anytime.
All right, Sportsnet's Sean Reynolds and co-host of the Kenny and Rennie Show. A couple minutes left, Drew. What do you take away from that?
Well, I'm back, and the mic's good.
Yeah, you know what? We always say we got the best pit crew in the business. What you didn't see was during that entire interview, Ryan, our technical producer, was out here just making that thing work. We tried to make it work. He took it apart. Then finally, it's like, this isn't going to work. Went and brought another one in. It's taking care of you, though. These guys are the best pit crew in the business.
Absolutely. As far as the interview, though, no, I liked what he had to say. Talking about the Oilers, they need more depth. McDavid and Draisaitl, they can do a lot of damage, but they need the other guys to step up too. The Nuge, the Chase-ons. They got to score some goals coming from those guys, clearly, going into game 2 and further in the series.
Well, they didn't start the game together either, McDavid and Draisaitl. They finished the game playing together when they needed to get the offense going. But, and I thought Dave Tippett can probably squeeze them for a little bit more. 23 and 24 minutes in the hockey game, I thought was good. I think that they can play more.
Yeah.
I think they can start pushing 25, 30 minutes when you really need them, especially with the 3 timeouts per period. So they do need more. They need more depth. We didn't see a lot from the Nuge last night. Jennifer Illingworth, she's our resident Oiler fan that watches every day. The Oil have to adjust their game for tomorrow. The Jets did a hell of a job keeping them to the outside. And then there's Helly. Got to get pucks past him. Yeah, and that's what the Jets need to do. You're going to sit back, and that's the game plan. So when you see the shots are skewed or the possession time skewed, and you think, man, they really outplayed them. No, that's exactly what we were trying to do. Let them carry the puck, protect the middle of the net, and we get a chance, let's roll, right? And take advantage of our chances. So that's the game plan for the Jets, and they executed it to a T. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in Game 2, Jets and Oilers. We got 4 games on tap tonight. Florida's in Tampa. Pittsburgh is visiting the New York Islanders. Toronto home to Montreal for Game 1 of their series. And Game 3, Minnesota and Vegas as that series shifts back to Minnesota. We'll talk a little bit about that, but we're going to go down memory lane. Dan Moriarty. You'll remember that name from NHL Cool Shots back in the day. I'm excited to connect with Dan again, so we'll do that on the other side. It's the Rod Pedersen Show here on Rod's Week Off on Game Plus Television Network, Facebook, and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds full-service car wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Well, when I first started playing, the scholarship was so important to me. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a gas station, and I used to actually line the field for the team to get paid just to make some extra money.
I think for me, the opportunities that the scholarships provide is very important, or very specifically the stress it alleviates for myself.
The Rams give me the opportunity to buy everything that I need to get the best grades that I can, and that'll lead to me getting hopefully the best job that I can in the future.
There wasn't a scholarship opportunity with the Rams. I know that life would have been a lot more difficult for myself. I'm not too sure exactly how much longer I would have been able to play beyond my first year.
With the opportunity that they provided for me to go through school with the financial support and with the opportunity to continue to play football, now that I look back on it, was the most important thing in my life.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Capital GMC is your used car destination. We're overstocked and priced to move, so shop online or in-store to get the best deal on any one of our massive selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. Every certified vehicle includes the balance of manufacturer's warranty, 150 plus point inspection, roadside assistance, and certified exchange privilege. So save the depreciation and buy pre-owned. Capital GMC is your used car destination at the corner of Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back to the Rod Pedersen Show. Programming note, it is Rod's week off, so instead of sitting in that chair, I get to sit in this chair, and we get to hang out. Rod will be back on Tuesday. Monday's the long weekend, so no show Monday, but we'll be back on the air on Tuesday. Chris Bird's having internet trouble. Stick with us, Chris. He says, my internet sucks. I'll see you tomorrow. Work on that, and hopefully we'll see it throughout the rest of the show. But it's my pleasure now to go out on the video chat and join Dan Moriarty in California. If you remember that name, Dan, it's great to see you. How are things?
Thanks, Darren. Things are fantastic because now in the States we're vaccinated. So it's all good, and you got fans back at the games. It's pretty cool.
We've been going across the United States over the last week or so. We've been to Nashville on the video chat. We've been to Carolina. We've been to Washington. They're all wide open, basically. How are things in your area?
Yeah. Well, states are funny because obviously they're all different. Last night I'm watching the game, and we had on the Canes, and you see the full house in Carolina. Then we go to the game at Edmonton. My wife says, "Where's the fan?" I said, honey, it's just different in Canada right now. And how are things in California? I think, everyone's playing hockey in the NHL except for the three teams in California, because we are the three worst teams right now in the National Hockey League. So I sit here and I stress about it, but I realize there is a future for all three teams. Think back a few years ago, they were all in the playoffs. So
that's right.
What's happening out here? Darren, it's interesting what's happening out here. But I think because I'm in LA, and I think of Robitaille and Blake and two Hall of Famers, and they're on the right track with the LA Kings. They definitely, of the three teams out here, I feel those are the three teams that are lined up the best as far as in the future, the most success sooner rather than later.
Well, Rod often referred to that area and those three teams as Death Valley, because you just go in there and you're probably going to come away from that road trip with nothing, right? You'd be lucky to get 2 points. So it's doesn't really sit right to know that they're the bottom of the basement. But how quickly can they return to Death Valley?
Well, they can, because if you look at the Kings that I just mentioned, they have the top prospect pool in the National Hockey League right now. You look at what Anaheim is down the road from you. You've got Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale, and you got these guys. You got great young players. The question for me with Anaheim, of course, is where's Ryan Getzlaf, future Hall of Famer, going to go? Will he stay here as he wants to, or will he go to a contender down the road and just shake everything up there? As far as the Kings are concerned, they have a lot of great youth. As I mentioned, they have this prospect pool, the number one in the NHL, and you still have Norris Trophy winner, Drew Doughty, future Hall of Famer again, Anze Kopitar. You still have the leaders there. And you have the leaders in the front office, as I mentioned with Rob Blake and Luc Robitaille. So I believe they're there. As far as the Sharks are concerned, and I'm biased here because I've been doing voiceover for the Sharks for the past few years on their web series called The Deep until this year because COVID got rid of the sponsors. However, I look at that team, and I saw last year in the bubble, I saw Pavelski still playing in Dallas, and then this year, last night, Donskoy, a couple goals with the Avs. Well, they let those guys go because of contract situations, and they kept Erik Karlsson, two-time Norris Trophy winner, but that two-time Norris Trophy winner from Ottawa hasn't come to California yet. They need that guy back to see how they're going to build that team out, and I worry about them because I don't think they have the cupboards full. The cupboards are bare because of Erik Karlsson, what they did acquiring that roster. And that's my concern with the San Jose Sharks. I'd like them back. I'd like all three California teams back. Because imagine that, Darren, you think about the NHL, and at one time you have all three California teams in the playoff. Last night, 2 nights ago, I'm watching Tampa, Florida. The state of Florida is on fire for hockey. It's a great thing for our sport to see successful teams in the Sun Belt of the U.S. just because it's exciting for us down here. And as hockey people, being in LA, I love it because this is not my home. It is now, but this is what I love to see. The buzz for the hockey going on in the Sun Belt. And right now, as I said, Florida, and that state's open, is crazy with fans.
Unbelievable. I mean, 9,600 in Sunrise, it sounded like 96,000. And that's been, for me, the best series of the playoffs. I mean, game 1 for sure. Game 2 was a little extension of it. That's the best hockey I've seen in a long time.
Well, yeah, I look at. Well, they had that pickup at the deadline. Some guy named Kucherov. Oh, really? So he comes back, and all of a sudden, 2 goals his first game back. Really? Okay, you guys are that good. And top to bottom, Darren, they are the best team for me because they won it last year. The cool part of hockey is, can they repeat as so few teams have done? The Red Wings not too long ago, or obviously the Pittsburgh Penguins since then. But it doesn't happen very often in our sports. It's a 2-month survival test to go. And right now they have everything. And they've proved last year the way you win in the playoffs. You have to have your third and fourth line grinders. You have to have the guys who can give you some offense, can kill penalties, and then step up. Florida has a great coach with Quenneville, and they have a great roster. They haven't been here before. And that's my concern for them, as we saw Tampa Bay learn over so many seasons how to win in the playoffs. I go back to Detroit years ago when Stevie Yzerman, when he became the defensive great player as a Hall of Famer as he is, but he changed his game, and they got great when they changed their style and learned how to win. That's what you do in the NHL. You have to learn how to win. Edmonton, I saw last night, I don't think they're there yet to learn how to win. Winnipeg has more depth. Again, I go back to the third and fourth line all the time. Darren, you got to look at these guys, the grinders, the role players, the glue guys. They're the ones that win in the playoffs. Your stars don't win in the playoffs. They've got to step up, and they have across the board, but your role players are the ones that carry you across the finish.
Where is Chris Draper? Where is Darren McCarty, the guys who were so instrumental? I mean, they had Fedorov and Yzerman, but those were heroes were born in the playoffs, right?
Think back to the grind line. You just said the guys. They became iconic in Detroit, and they were playing with Yzerman, Fedorov. Let's go down the list. Shanahan. Go down the Hall of Fame list.
Right.
The guys who really held the banner. The guys who, when they got the cup in their hand, the stars couldn't wait to pass it to them, and that was your grind line. These are the guys who became, again, iconic stars in Detroit. And I guarantee you, well, not Darren McCarty. He's cleaned up. A good friend of mine at one point, and luckily for him. But these guys, besides Darren, they don't. Darren McCarty, not you, Darren Dupont. They don't buy a beer in the state of Michigan. They just don't, because that's going to live forever, and rightfully so. And we saw the same thing last year with your third and fourth line in Tampa. You're going to see the same thing again this year. Brian Burke was right, and I love Berkey. When Brian went to Pittsburgh and became the president, he says, we got to get tougher. Well, I saw Tanev playing last night, and he drills people because he needs that toughness to go further with Crosby, no Malkin yet, etc. They got Jeff Carter, great goal scorer. He's also a tough player. These are the guys you have to have in the playoffs because, as we know, the rink gets tighter. there's less room, there's less space, and how do you go through those 2 months of pain to get to that point? And you were just saying one of the best series, of course, Tampa and Florida. Who's going to survive it? I think Tampa. How banged up will they be? Wait to be seen. The other series that I'm loving is Boston Capitals. 3 games, 3 overtimes, double overtime now. Those teams are older. Can they withstand as they go through, the survivors go through with the injuries they're going to have? And how will that play off also, because they are older teams? And I always say that, Darren, they're built for right now. I mean, every team wants to win now, but those 2 teams have to win now because the window's closing desperately. You can see the gray hair on me. Ovechkin has as much gray hair as I do.
Yeah. You're doing great things now in the business world as a communications coach, but does the San Jose stuff, doing the voiceover for the Deep and staying connected to that team, does that satisfy, does that scratch the itch enough?
It's funny. It doesn't. It doesn't. I got to admit, I love what I do. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. And I travel the world there and being a communication public speaking coach. It's been great coming off of the interview world that I did for 20 years with TV and radio. I love that. The hobby, the passion is the sport of hockey. And that's the one thing that I miss. That's why a few nights ago when the playoffs started, I looked at my wife and said, honey, it's 2 months. She goes, I know, playoffs are starting. I said, I know, and I've got to watch. Now, my wife's half Canadian. Well, she's a Newfie. That's part Canadian. But she's half Canadian, and she gets the sport, but she never played the sport growing up, and she's never been around it growing up. But she loves the game of hockey. She loves my passion for it. And you brought up the cool shots. Obviously, I love the Golden Knights in Vegas, one of the best teams in the NHL.
Yeah.
But my heart is with the Wild because I had that one shift with the Wild. So for me, I'm a Wild guy. It's got to be. I'm not a Wild guy personally. Well, I am, but I'm a Wild fan.
You told me that story when we were on the phone and I was sitting in the airport, but I remember that like it was yesterday. I mean, what did they do? Cut your laces, put the shaving cream in the gloves. I mean, you got to go to training camp with the Minnesota Wild. Like, this was expansion Minnesota Wild. Jacques Lemaire, Marian Gaborik, like that era. And then you got to play in a shift. You were lining up, what was it, either against Solani or Korea on the opening faceoff?
They before the game, when they had it all set up, because the guys knew it was for cool shots. And they said, great, Moriarty, I've played hockey with him before in charity events. He can at least skate and he won't kill us. He might kill himself, but he won't kill us. And so they mic'd me up, of course. And then they said, okay, Solani, Korea. Paul said, I'll do it. So Paul, who I knew pretty well, I knew Solani better. But Paul said, I want to do it. So we mic'd Paul up. And Paul, as true to Paul's form, once the puck drops, he says nothing. He's very serious. And Solani, I think, may have given us more audio, but it was fine. We lined up against him. I had that one shift, and Jacques Lemaire looks at me because a few shifts later, there was some fighting going on in front of our net. Noodles was our goalie. And these are guys, it's preseason, don't forget. They're fighting for jobs. It's the Mighty Ducks at that time still, and It's the Minnesota Wild. These are a brand new organization, 2000. And Jacques comes behind me and taps me on the shoulder as the guys are going at it in front of the net. He's like, Dan, you're done for the night. I'm like, okay, thanks. Because he was going to give me another shift.
Yeah.
He said, no, Dan, you can't go back out. You might hurt yourself.
He was protecting you. Oh, my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
I know we're running out of time. So quickly, if there was the one guy that you enjoyed the most being around, I mean, you've done Cuba Gooding Jr., all the L.A. stars, right? Dennis Leary, Kurt Russell, you name it. What was the best guy?
The best interview ever. Ovechkin. Sorry, I went back to hockey. I went back to Alex Ovechkin. I was doing a live shot with Alex Ovechkin once in Pittsburgh, and we were in the Zamboni. And all of a sudden, the Zamboni comes off, and I pull him to the side, and he pulls me out of the way of the Zamboni. He's like, come here, Dad. And we're on live TV. And he's pulling me, he's saying, you can't get hurt. I got a game to play. I've got equipment on. I've got to go back into the locker room. But he was fantastic. He was a great guy to me. And then as far as celebrities are concerned, Kurt Russell was really one of the best. And I had a great long interview with him right after America was coming out, the film on the 1980 team. Sorry, Canada. I bring that up as America once in a while. And he was just a great gentleman. And because I live in California, I live on the west side, I live near him, and I see him once in a while in the area. I don't live in his neighborhood, but I live near him. His neighborhood's a little better than mine.
Oh, so cool. Dan, this has been great. We're out of time, but I love it. Love hearing your voice. it brings back so many memories when we watch the Shark Show. So here's hoping you can keep doing as much as you want to do.
And you do the same and have a great time this week with the main guy out. You're the main guy. You let him have a good vacation. It's all your show, right? Great freaking job, and thanks for getting a hold of me. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Stay in touch. Dan Moriarty joining us. NHL cool shots. Man, that was awesome. We'll unpack that. We got to go to a break, Drew, but we'll unpack that. And we got some big basketball news. Ooh, we're going to shift gears here, but we got big basketball news on the way. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's week off here on the Game Plus Television Network, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports talk at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day. The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
All right, welcome back to the Rod Pedersen Show. We will be going on the video chat in a second. Clark just told me to hang tight. Tacona Powley says, Dennis Leary, yeah, one of the best. He was on NHL Cool Shots, Dennis Leary was. Drew, I got to apologize. I mentioned Darren McCarty and Chris Draper. I didn't mention Joey Koser, who was a real big part of that group, too. Your cousin So here's your 30 seconds or 10 seconds to talk about Joey.
No, yeah. I mean, I was intrigued by Dan's comments in that interview. It was a lot of fun to learn from that guy. And, he said a lot of your points just on how you need depth. And those guys create space for those star players like the Yzermans, the Shanahans, the Fedorovs. But yeah, Joey is the reason why he's best friends with Steve Yzerman today. Our
intern Rachel in Toronto asked about the Russian five. Yeah, they were big. Who were the Russian five?
Fetisov.
Larionov. Fetisov. Who's the defenseman? Oh, man. That Fedorov.
That's three. We're halfway there.
Yeah, I know, right? Tell us who the rest of Konstantinov was the defenseman that got knocked out and ended up with the bad injury in the car accident afterwards. But he was devastating. And there's one more. There's one more that I'm missing. Jeff, the Stamps fan on Facebook. I remember Cuba Gooding Jr. being at McMahon one Labor Day and McMahon appearing in a movie of his. And lots of celebrities have been in McMahon.
See Larionov?
Sora says so. Yeah, Larionov. Konstantinov I had. We're missing one. But we'll get back to this in a second because we're going out on the video chat and joining Tanner Brightman, owner and founder of Golden Ticket Sports and Hoop Factory. And he's got big news. The Canadian Junior Basketball League. Tanner, congratulations. What can you tell us about the big news today?
Awesome, yeah. No, thanks for having me, Darren. I, as soon as we got on, I went, wow, Rod got younger, better looking. And it's like a reunion here with coaches. There are two coaches. We've got some Royal Regina Backshop stories for you.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
We could probably go 30 minutes just on that.
It's close.
Yeah, no. Canadian Junior Basketball League, real cool inaugural year kicking off next year. We're really excited about it. Golden Ticket Sports will have two teams, one based out of Saskatoon and one based out of Regina. There's 10 teams in the league ranging across Western Canada, and it's an under-20 league here for male athletes. So what we've found, especially with this COVID, almost 2 years now, is that there's a logjam for university teams, right? There's guys who haven't had to use any eligibility. So there's a lot of dudes here that are trying to find a spot to play, but there just hasn't been the same kind of turnover in athletes as there usually would. So between ourselves and a couple of partners here in Calgary, that was where we went with it. We pushed forward for something else to really make it a viable option for kids to stay at home, to play, and to have some affiliation with universities.
Really cool. So how many total markets? Like this, we're kind of trying to compare. Obviously, we always want to compare this to something. It's almost like the junior hockey, but maybe more like the junior football circuit, right? That's kind of a bridge gap between players coming out of high school and not quite being ready for university ball.
Yeah, completely accurate. And I think the Junior Football League would be the best comparison, probably. Like right now, to play on U Sports roster for basketball, you got to be 23, 24, 25 to be cracking playing time right now. So it's become more of a men's league here rather than a first or second year guys coming out of high school. So we think this is a really nice fit for that, and for guys to have the opportunity to keep playing at a high level with great coaching and to do it while still getting their school taken care of. So,
how long has this been something that you've dreamed of putting together? Because it can't have happened overnight.
No, and we can't take the full kind of credit here for it. It's something I think people have been kicking around ideas for a long time. And actually, Chris, my business partner, and I here, we talked about doing it. And then just kind of in passing, we had another conversation with Eddie Richardson out of Calgary. And he said, actually, we're launching this thing next year. Will you guys be in? And we said, yeah, absolutely. Count us in for two teams, and we'll take care of some of the back end for the league and make it happen.
Very cool. So you've got, is this the Regina and Saskatoon teams? Or which two teams will you be a part of? That's right. How many teams total across the Canadian Junior Basketball League then?
Sure. So inaugural year will have 10 teams, and it was kind of hand selected by, as I said, Eddie, who's the league director. Again, just a really unique experience here for guys to be able to come out and play, because you have a tough year, obviously, coming out of COVID, where you haven't got your grade 12 year maybe, right? And to have a place to play and to be able to go back and forth. And we were doing the math on it, just being in Saskatchewan as well. You really only got three options to play basketball after you're done to stay in the province. You could go to the U of R, you could go to the U of S, or you could go to Briarcrest. Alternatively, we look at Alberta, and they've got 19 different schools that you could go and play at from the college or the U Sport level. So hopefully this is a better opportunity for guys to stay at home and really make it happen.
Very cool. And you're going to mirror the U Sports calendar, right? October, November, December, January, February. It won't compete with the CEBL, which is more of the summer league. And you'll have 2 leagues, a men's and a women's?
Yeah, so men's league the first year, and then the league's in talk of a women's league here potentially launching next year. And you're right on the calendar there, Darren. Yeah, so there'll be 5 tournament weekends we found was the best way to go about it. So 3 of those will be hosted in Calgary, 1 in Edmonton, and then 1 here in Saskatchewan. Probably, I would say, in January is what we're pitching right now for the Saskatchewan host. So we'll keep you locked in for when that's going to happen, and hopefully a good showing here from the public. So.
Very, very cool and tremendously exciting. Congratulations. Can we talk about the facility?
Yeah. Let's talk about number 2 here. Yeah,
Moose Jaw, right? And not a small facility either. Tell us about that.
That's right. Yeah, it's now about 6 months, I guess, in the making here. And it wasn't something last time that I was on here. We were talking about Lloydminster, right? And now Moose Jaw here. So 40,000 square foot facility. It's the former Hillcrest Curling Club. So it's right on Main Street there. It's attached to the Hillcrest Golf Course. And a really, really cool space. I mean, there was 16 sheets of curling ice in there at one point. And now we're basically turning it and retrofitting it here with basketball, volleyball, and beach volleyball will be in there too. So we'll have Saskatchewan's only indoor beach volleyball court.
Exciting, tremendously exciting. And are we ready to tip off this fall? Or when's the
right.
expected start date? This fall?
Yeah, we would say probably middle of July would be when we'll get this thing done. I was just, I literally drove back from there. I sprinted up here into my apartment. And it was a good thing that I had like about 3 minutes here of listening to Kosher, yes, back and forth here, like catch my breath. But yeah, middle of July is the plan here right now. The hardwood gets laid probably the first week of June. So
cool. Drew, you got anything for him? Doesn't even have to be about basketball.
Yeah, sure does. I want to ask a question about development with the basketball league. Obviously, I don't know, nothing about basketball, but for the hockey, for me in hockey and developing, growing players and whatnot. How do you see, growing the program with the basketball players for scouts coming to watch? Just elaborate on that.
Sure. Yeah, I think Saskatchewan and probably Western Canada would be a little bit behind Eastern Canada from a basketball standpoint, right? We hear about Toronto a lot. We hear about Quebec a lot here from the basketball side of things. So just the chance for guys to get out and get seen. And as I said, this logjam of athletes, and just them having scouts to be able to come out and see, I think is really good. The tie-in with the league here on the development side of things is that the coaching, especially I think with our program here, we've got Greg Jockham's leading the North squad, U Sport champion, CUBL champion, right? He's kind of got the resume. And then Kai Williams will be leading the South squad here with a bunch of other help as well. So coaching about as good as you can get it. And then our just contact and affiliation here with different groups kind of all over North America. Hopefully we find a place for these guys to play after they're done their CJBL time.
That is tremendously exciting. Congratulations on everything, Tanner. I appreciate this. And we're looking forward to getting involved as much as we can with the CJBL. Congrats on this, and all the best moving forward.
Good to see you, dude.
Awesome, fella. Yeah, I appreciate it. Good to be on. Thanks, guys.
You bet. Tanner Brightman from Golden Ticket Sports and the Canadian Junior Basketball League. So stay tuned for that. And just before we break, the Russian Five, Sergei Fedorov, Vladimir Konstantinov, Slava Kozlov, Slava Fetisov, and Igor Larionov.
We were so close.
Ooh,
we were so close.
Good. My word. All right. We got viewer takeover. I've got texts on the Prairie Mobile text line, 306-840-8777. You can get your text messages in. Any thoughts you have on Leafs Habs game day? If there's any Oilers Jets leftovers, you want to go CFL, you let us know where you want to go. We'll do that next in overtime. It's the Rod Pedersen Show here on Game Plus Television Network, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
Direct West provides us with stats and analytics, and it's amazing for us to look and see that, each year we're 10 to 20% higher on our Google leads. It's great to see the success that our locations are having. The Direct West app gives us an opportunity to be in one place for people to find any of our locations or our commodities. Without Direct West, we would have to be in multiple digital places. I would recommend Direct West. They're great to work with.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. We're overstocked and priced to move, so shop online or in-store to get the best deal on any one of our massive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Every pre-owned vehicle at Capital Ford must pass a thorough inspection, ensuring that your buying experience is quick, easy, worry-free, and just like new. So save the depreciation and buy pre-owned. Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. The patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept admission.
This is why I'm all in.
Admission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right, welcome back. Overtime segment here. Darren Dupont here. Drew Koster stuck around. He's still with us from the Off the Hosel podcast. We're going to talk a little bit of golf in the overtime, but Ryan Gregory on YouTube, after game one, do you think the Oilers or Jets will win the series? You know what? I'll know after game two, because if the Jets have an answer for McDavid and Draisaitl again, if they had something and it worked, and they apply a similar game plan and it works again, then I think the Oilers are in some real trouble. If this is a one-off, then I'm really not sure. Really not sure. But sports update, and the PGA Championship is continuing right now in Kiowa Island in South Carolina. Keegan Bradley is 3 under through 17. Victor Hovland also 3 under, and American Brooks Koepka 3 under through 16. They share the lead in the opening round. Trying to see what other notables. Hendrick Stenson is -1. Ricky Fowler -1. Tied for 9. Colin Morikawa -1 as well. And I'm trying to scroll way down. Corey Connors is even, but he just got started through 1. Adam Hadwin +1 through 1. Trying to give you the update here on the Canadians. What else do we got? Anybody else down here? Mackenzie Hughes will tee off at 2:37, and I believe that's Eastern, so we should be coming down fairly soon. 4 games in the National Hockey League tonight. Tampa's home to Florida. The Islanders are home to Pittsburgh. That series tied 1-1. The Montreal Canadiens are in Toronto for Game 1 of their best-of-7 series coming up at 7:30 Eastern, and Minnesota home to Vegas. That series tied at a game apiece. Your sports update is for Ben Cahoon's G2G Energy Bars. Get 20% off using the promo code RPShow at g2gbars.ca. And for Caliber Coffee, get some of the freshest coffee beans around delivered right to your door. To order, visit calibercoffee.ca. Drew, PGA Championship, you said they're allowed rangefinders for the first time.
Correct.
And I don't know that you think it's a big deal?
It definitely helps, but I think we just talked about it off the air a little bit. Like, these PGA caddies are so good. Like, I see what they do, and I know one firsthand, just some of the yard books they work on and all the numbers and the walking and the pacing, and I don't think I could do it. I'd pass out. Like, how much walking they do?
Well, yeah. It's pretty good, and I think why not? They know the distances anyway. And this is really minutia of golf, which most of the viewers are going to find not that entertaining. But those caddies, they know every area on the golf course and how far it is to every little spot on the green. I mean, I'm a 8-9 handicap who plays weekend golf, and I can sit there and say, that's about $185, and then I pull out the rangefinder, and it's a 183 yards or 180 yards. It's not going to make that big of a difference.
The one thing I would question, I know that there's some rangefinders that show the greens, so that could play in a factor for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, these guys they're the reason why they're professional caddies, and they're fine.
Connor Woolman, the original intern, the OG intern, Connor Matthews Hattie tonight. He's calling it. Austin Matthews with the playoff hat trick. We'll see. Carey Price is at the other end, and Carey Price can win a series all by himself. So can Connor Hellebuck, and he was pretty darn good in Game 1 last night. Jeff Cabillas wants to know if Gallagher is back for the Habs. He is. That is big. Do we want to put those lineups up one more time, Clark? If it's not too tough, we got 4 minutes or so left in the program. But yes, he's in, which means around here, for the Leafs, Adam Brooks is out. Pierre, let's do Leafs first. So we look at the Leafs lineup. Riley Nash will draw in. Ilya Mikheyev draws in on that third line, which means that Adam Brooks is out, Pierre Engvall is going to sit out, and Rasmus Sandin on the back end on the third pairing, he's going to draw in with Zach Bogosian, who's back in the lineup, which means Travis Dermott will be out, and Jack Campbell gets the starting goal tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And on the other side, it's Carey Price in net for the Montreal Canadiens. They've got Gallagher back. Weber looks to be pretty good on that second pair, but as you see in the forward units, you can't have that many forwards. Kasperi Kotkaniemi is out. Cole Caulfield is out. Do you like that move by the Habs, Dominic Ducharme?
No. I like Caulfield a lot. But I'd like to see him in the lineup.
But guys like Eric Stahl, Corey Perry, I think they have to play, I think, with Anderson. I think that could be an X-factor line. I don't know. I don't see this series going long, but it could be a lot of fun. And tonight will be a lot of fun. See where Carey Price is at. Tomorrow on the program, Football Canada President Jim Mullen will be alongside. Three Down Nation's Justin Dunk will be here. And Mo Khan at a TSN Montreal. I'm excited to hook up with Mo. I haven't talked to him since, it was Christmas time, New Year's podcast I did with him and Nick Lewis and Devontae Claybrooks. That was a lot of fun, so it'll be good to catch up with Mo Khan on a real Football Friday. We'll have Lynch in here. He'll be in the chair. I think we had problems with the mic today. We'll see what happens when Lynch gets his hands on it, but that'll be a lot of fun.
How about that?
Couple minutes left. How about that, indeed? To get to the Prairie Mobile text line and your thoughts. Brady in Saskatoon. Hey, Dupes, getting a quick text in before I leave for the day. This came in this morning, and I can't believe I didn't get to it. I hope tonight's Habs versus Leafs game is a good one. God mode, Carey activated. Carey Price. The Leafs better watch out. The best seasons of his career have come when he's cared in practice. So we'll see. Go Habs, go. From Brady. Stephen in North Dakota. Hold my beer. Dry humor. I can't pay late viewing fines all the time. My stock I can't read this. Alutane Isles Rail is underwater. And it gives a little weird face. Stephen in Minot, North Dakota. Am I going to the train station now? Question mark. for being late and not tuning in. I'm not sure. He's a little bit all over the place. A lot of curveballs here from Stephen in North Dakota. That needs I don't know. And Ken in Saskatoon. Good job in the big chair, Darren. Notice the less hand rubbing today. And more knuckle locks in and finger tip push-ups. Okay. That was always the thing. I used to touch the mic too much, and now it's the hands. As Jeff says, great job, Dupes. Keep on rolling. Great job, Drew. Keep on rolling, Dupes. And Ryland Spencer loved the show, DD. And Jeff also wants to know, how can you have Caulfield out? He's the young guy with all the energy. But, hey, it's tough. This is playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a different game, right? Quick thought over to you, and we're gonna bring you in for our weekend show this weekend on Access to talk more about the Pilot Butte Storm. But you're the head coach. How exciting is that?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's an honor and looking forward to the opportunity. Took the pandemic to work on some recruiting and whatnot, so it's been already a lot of work so far. And I've been in contact with the players and they're looking forward to it.
The Off the Hosel podcast is rolling too. #1 golf and hockey podcast out there in Saskatchewan. Off the Hosel. Frenzy, Jim Mullen, Justin Dunk, Mo Khan. Tomorrow, we'll see you then.
That's the secret sauce.